until Mr. Kornbluth comes, and then you're dead. Or Mendy. New base marriage, we're going to have to just make names. Yalla. Hit me up. What is this? Okay, good.
That's a good way to get sponsorship.
Yeah, right. Somebody's going to give. All right, so good winter. Welcome back. Just in a couple of days, we're finishing Kachim, and we're going to start Masechtas Nida. What was it? 3 days. So it's a good time to bring your friends. Zok the Mishnah, we're just finishing off yesterday's Daf Lamed Dalet Amud Beis. We're holding a Mishnah Beis in the new parak. We saw the concept that Kol Pino Shat Poina, it should be only Limin. When any way you turn, you should always turn to your right. And what I said yesterday was actually a Rashi that we learned in Zvachim. So Rashi had the question, if you're going to make a right turn and go around the Mizbeach, or even in the Har Bayis, I don't know if he says it's going to get to what we're just learning now, but it turns out that you're making a right turn, and then immediately you're making lefts. You're making more lefts than rights, and you want to go right. So when it comes to the Mizbeach, Rashi says that he positions his body towards the center of the Mizbeach. He's not walking around the Soivev or whatever it is on top, the Hiluch HaKoyanim. He moves his body sideways, so he's constantly making right turns all the way around. There's no left. So when you walk into the Har Bayis, we have one or two people here that went on to the Har Bayis, they're very into the Har Bayis thing. We might even have a shiur this week if somebody's interested on Masechtas Middos and discussing the whole Har Bayis controversy. Akoponim, when you go into Har Bayis, I don't know if that's what they do today. Nichnasim derech yamin. Is that how you do? You walk. When you walk into Har Bayis, those who go into Har Bayis even today, they make a right turn. Umakifim v'yotzim derech smal. The Mefarish says here one pshat, but we're going according to the Rosh in this Masechta. The Mefarish says that when you come out of the left door. So let's say you have two shar chuldas, you walk in the right shar chulda. When you come out of the left shar chulda.
That's how they do it.
What? That's how they do it. But the Rosh says differently. The Rosh says you're constantly going counterclockwise. You walk into the Har Bayis, you're going counterclockwise. So when you leave Har Bayis, you're also going counterclockwise. You're not going back on your footsteps, you're just continuing the circle coming out the same way you came in. Chutz mimisha eroi davar. If something happened to a person, as the Mishnah is going to describe, he's either a avel or he's a nidui, shu makif l'smoil, then he goes in the opposite direction of everybody else in order to invoke, what's the word, to create curiosity. Why are you walking backwards? We're all walking this direction. Who are you? So they realize right away that he's an avel. And they say to him, Malachom makiv l'smol, what are you doing? So he answers, Shani avel. The person says he's an avel. So everybody tells him, Hashoichim bebayis hazeh yinachemcha. It's a beautiful lashon. Instead of hamakayim or whatever, just a random HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No, the one who's right here in this house, he should give you a nechama. Or he might answer them, Sha'ani menuda. I'm a nidu. They put me in excommunication. Hashoichim bebayis hazeh yitem belibcha v'karvucha. So again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Goyres here, the Bach, the Hagoyes V'tzionim says, some call it Hagoyes V'tzionim, whatever. The Hagoyes V'tzionim says, Belibam. It makes more sense to say Belibam because of the issue that we're going to have in a second. What's Belibam? Chachamim, who put you in Nidui, they should get some seichel. They should realize that you're a good guy. So it's not such a nice lashon. Yidem belibam v'karvucha. They should bring you closer to them. They're Meir. Amar leRabbi Yosi asisam ki'ilu over alav v'sadin.
You see, Tamei Mace is allowed on Harabais already.
Why? Where?
Because the guy's oval.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's an oval.
Mechitez he touched. Who told you?
He's the oval.
So, every oval is a Tamei Mace?
Maybe not.
I don't know. Who told you? They'll say he never touched. Only a son that didn't go close.
He wasn't in the room with him?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a raya moichatzas. Asizim kilo avra v'sadin. He has an agenda, this guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they tell, says Rabbi Yosi, the point is, according to Rabbi Yosi, the point is, what are you saying? Sheyitim belibam HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give Chachamim the mind, and they should realize that you're right. You made them into, they made a mistake. That's not true. Allah shoychem b'bayis hazeh, yitim belibcha, it should put in your heart, you should become a better person. V'sishma l'dibri chavirecha, you should listen to your chaverim v'korvucha, and through that, you'll become not in nidui anymore. Perfect timing. We're holding Daf Lamed Hey. Top of the Mishnah. Zok the Mishnah. If you're just joining us, we're starting out here. There's a chair right here. Mendy, you want to come here? Okay. Top of Lamed Hey Yomad Aleph. New Mishnah. Lifnim imenu soirig. We're talking about the Beis Hamikdash, the walls of Harabayis. It's not even in order. I thought it's in order. What's going on here? Rabbi Yisai, Shem Yerachim. There's a little gate called a soirig. Not here. Maybe it's at home. Oh, sorry. Here we go. This is the wall of the Beis Hamikdash. This is the Kaisel Ma'aravi somewhere. Here are steps. This is the Chayil. This area right over is Chayil. What?
Not the current Kaisel Ma'aravi.
No. Just for. And this is the Sarig. Machlokes Rishonim, big machlokes, where exactly was this Sarig position? Was it all the way around? Or it was just, basically this marks where Goyim can't pass through anymore. They can't come closer than this Sarig, than this wall. Now, as the Mishnah is going to describe, the Yevanim weren't happy with this, because basically this tells the Yevanim they can't go past this wall. So what did they do? They breached it in 30 different places. Says the Mishnah. Where's my card? Everything's. Lefnim mimenu soirig gavoy asor tfachim. It was 10 tfachim high. Ushloish esrei protzois hoyu boy shepartzim machayavam. The Yevanim breached it 13 times. Chazru gdorum. So when they kicked the Yevanim out, the first thing that they went back to business, they said, okay, we got to close up what the Yevanim ruined. The Gazru Kenegdam, and therefore, as a sign of the nace that happened, that they were able to get rid of the Yevanim, Shalosh Esrei Yishtachavayos. You bow down 13 times. We're going to see later, the Mishnah later says that they would bow inside the Azara. Some say they bowed by those openings, by the closures. Lifnim mimenu achel eser amos. So the Chayil, this area right over here, let's say from this wall till the main wall of the Harabayis. No, this is not the Azara. Not that. Yeah. This is correct. Of the Azara is a Chayil and is how long? Eser Amos. Eser Amos wide. Ushtei Mesri Malis Hoyusham. You see in this picture, 12 stairs. This thing we had, I don't know if you could see. You see the stairs. This is the chayil. According to this, it's all the way around and it has these lines in it. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'll put it over here. Fine. Rum malo, the height of each step, chatzi amo. So if you have 12 stairs times a half amo, that's 6 amos high. V'shilcho chatzi amo, and the tread of the stairs were a half amo, the part you step on. Yeah. Kol ha'malo, he doesn't like when I use these words. That kol ha'malo shoyu sham, rum malo, all the stairs in the Beis Hamikdash were chatzi amo, v'shilcho chatzi amo. So they are half amo high. It's kind of tall for our. If a amo is 2 feet, so chatzi amo is about a foot. It's almost double than what we're used to today.
Even the Grachna one.
Yeah.
1.5.
Exactly.
0.75. It's a bit larger.
Yeah. V'shilcho chatzi amo. Chutz mishal ulam. Ulam was really bad. The ulam, going into the ulam, over here, the stairs were 1 amma, about 2 feet tall. All the entrance, all the gateways, all the entrances in the Beis Hamikdash, gavam esrim amma, enormous stairways, entrances, 20 amma in our, according to what we understand, Chazanish and the other, 40 feet tall, massive doorways. V'rochvam esr amos, and they're 10 amos wide. Chutz mishal ulam. What? That would be the whole. Just open it up. Yeah, there's no door. Unless we start from the bottom. Chutz mishal ulam, we could do this one. This one was a lot better. It was 40 amos high, about 80 feet tall, and 20 amos wide. Kol ha'psachim shoyu sham hoilam dlasos. All the entranceways had doors. Chutz mishal ulam. The ulam didn't have a door. What did the ulam have? A paroiches. Kol ha'sharim shoyu sham hoilam shkoifos. All the gates had a mashkoif, meaning a top lentil. If we look over here, this is a mashkoif. This is what we're talking about. But the meaning is this part, but it goes straight. This is, I know, but I'm just trying to point out what it is. It's not this part.
It's not part of the measurement.
It's the top part, the upper part. This is teddy that's different because it's an angle. Chutz mishal teddy shoyu sham shtei avonim mutois zu agav zu. Couple shitas, either is like this, like upside down V, 2 avonim that go like this, or it was a normal entranceway. Just the top part had a little decor and had 2 stones. Ba'akopanim, the other ones were flat, a mashkoif. We learned this a few times that when Klal Yisrael built the Beis Hamikdash, they didn't have money, so they did a temporary. That's maybe we should do it in our Beis Medrash also. We'll do a version 1.0, and then later on when they had more money, they started upgrading things. They switched out the doors to gold. As we described yesterday, the famous story, Nikanor came with his 2 doors to the Beis Hamikdash, and there was issues on the ship. It was going to go down, so they made him throw one off. And then when he said he would throw off the second one, he held on to it with all his might. He said, "Throw me off with it." So they didn't throw him off. And when they got to the port, the door, miraculously, the one that they threw off was there. So since there was a big nace with it, they didn't change the doors to gold. They had a special copper, and that copper looked like gold. It actually was even as expensive or more expensive than gold in those days, and therefore they left it as is. Zok the Mishnah Daled. The cholak solim shoyu sham hoyu gvoim chutz mikoisel hamizrachi. So there's all your Gemaras if you have it, but I printed it out just in case you don't have it. The art school has even a better one maybe, but this is the Mesifta. Here's the Kohen burning. He's on the Hara Mishcha. He's on Hara Zeisim. He's standing up here and he's doing the para aduma. It says in the pasuk that he has to be able to see in the beginning. He throws the blood in the direction of the Beis Hamikdash, but he has to see the heichal. The only way for him to see the heichal is if this wall, the mizrach, the top of the wall, is less than 20 amos. As
he sees over the gate.
he sees over the wall. Over the wall, this is his line of sight, this red line, and he can see all the way.
Wouldn't it depend how tall he is?
Okay, but now you're it's within.
We've seen this in Menachos.
That's just that picture. If you stood on Har Hazeisim today, you could see Har Bayis pretty easily.
No. Har Bayis is one thing. He has to see the heichal, and look how many obstacles he has here. He has to see through the doors, all these doors. Look, he has to go over this wall. He has to go over the kaisel of the azara. So he has to basically shining. He has to goes through the opening of shiny corners over here. That's the second gate, the back gate, the front gate, the back gate, and he's standing over here on the steps, and he has to be able to see the heichal right over here. So there's a lot of obstacles. All the doors are open, and he has to see right there. That would be tough. To go reverse, to be on Har Bayis and see Har Hazeisim Nunu, but to see within a building doors through a hallway and through this all the way through, it has to be very exact.
A naked eye?
Yeah.
No glasses.
No binoculars. Right, Mendy? Going back. In Mendy's Beis Mikdash, he has binoculars for the safari. He'll figure it out. Fine. By the way, that was one of the most geschmacka things. When we were on tabletop in, what is it called over there, in Cape Town, so they had the things that you put the quarter in, but I had my own. So I saved the quarter. That was very,
It's worth it.
No, also you can go in all directions. That was limited, like this. Yes, of course. I saved everybody. The whole oilam was saved. Shakoyin asoyev what?
You could have charged them all the use and use it for the base measure.
Money goes to the base measure. Money goes to the base measure. Shakoyin asoyev is aporo oy mebroish haramishcha. The koyin burning the para aduma stands on top of on the Har Hazeisim. Umiskavin v'roya bepischa shel heichol b'shas hazoyis adam. He has to see the opening of the heichol when he sprinkles the blood. Mishnah Hey.
Go to Har Hazeisim.
Tiul. Maybe that's where you should do your shir. It's a very good idea. Instead of in your house, do it on Har Hazeisim.
See if you can see across.
You would like it in Har Bayis, I understand.
You don't go to Har Bayis, but you can go to Har Hazeisim.
Right. Ezra's Hanoshim Hoysa Oirech Meo Ushloishim V'chomesh Al Roichav Meo Ushloishim V'chomesh. Get rid of this one, this one, this one. Whoa. A lot of... I need more paper. Anybody going to America? Ezra's Hanoshim. 135 by 135. Whatever. We'll talk. He needs coffee. No, actually, shkoyach, Mr. Halpern, for all the coffee. I heard you brought a lot of coffee. Shkoyach. Unsolicited, or he made you mishuga? I need to know the... Really? Unbelievable. 6 jugs of coffee. How many? Which ones? How many cups per? Beautiful. Oh, shkoyach. We got to learn from him. So you don't bring back meat. You're not the type. You don't bring coffee. Okay, Givalda. Anyways, as you see, there's a shnashim. It was a perfect square. It's called the Ezra's Nashim because the women weren't allowed to go past this point. But as the Mishnah is going to describe, men used it all the time. It was more for men than for women. And we're going to be discussing these 4 chambers over here. They're not square. In the picture, they're square. In reality, the Mishnah says 40, but it could be it's a mistake. Whoever drew this didn't realize that the Mishnah, the pasuk says differently than what the Mishnah doesn't describe the width, only the length. So maybe he thought it's 40 by 40, but it's really 40 by 30. They're not perfect squares. I didn't see anybody that's mechulik on that really. Says the pasuk says in Yecheskel that it's going to be 40 by 30s, and this is all the Bayis Sheni and the Bayis Shlishi are identical. Says the Mishnah, Ez anashim hoysa oirach 135 al roicha 135. Ba'arba l'shachos hoyu ba'arba miktoisel. In the corners there were 4 chambers. Shel arboim amma. So over here it says 40, 40. I don't think it means 40 by 40. It just means 40 each. Arboim. Each one is 40 amma. By 30 amma. V'lo hayu mikoros. They didn't have a ceiling. V'kachim asidim niyos, and that's how it's going to be in Bayis Shlishi. Shenem avitzina lechotzer chitzoyne v'avirine el arbas mikzoy chotzer v'ine chotzer b'mikzoy chotzer. And then it says, you have to say v'goymer. Anytime it says goymer, you have to look in the pasuk. Keturos means it was open. Hey, look. If you look in the side over here, Yecheskel Memvav, look at your Torah or everybody. It says Arbaim Oirech Ushloishim Roichav Mida Achas LaArbatam Maktois. Every one of the 4 had the same measurement, 40 by 30. Barbas Miktois Achotzer Chatzerois Keturois. Oh, so he brings the Keturois over here in the pasuk. Ve'ein Keturois Elo She'einon Mikoros. The word Keturois means, like the Keturois, the smoke goes up. B'kitzer, it doesn't have a ceiling. It doesn't have a roof. What do they accomplish? So right over here, the Nazirim. A Nazir brings 3 korbanos. He brings an oil chatas and a shlamim. So shesham hanazir mevashlim eshalmeim. The third one, the shlamim, was cooked in this chamber. And of course, the Nazir cannot shave his head until he brings the carbon. Umegalchem es sa'aron, and he shaves off his hair. Umeshalchem tachas adud, and this pot that's cooking his shlamim gets a little present. His hair goes underneath the pot, and that's where they burn his hair. Mizrachas tzvaynis, he hoisa lishkas ha'eitzim. Right over here, across from it, in this corner, is where the kohanim that can't perform the avodah, they do, what is it called in the tzavah, jobnik, whatever. He gets the jobnik. He takes care of the worms in the wood. He deworms the wood. The wood had to be perfect. You take dry wood.
Checks the wood for worm. Checks the wood for worm. He doesn't take it out. He checks.
Checks it. No, you could take out. You could. No. Sometimes it's possible. If it's moist, it's possible. But if it's not, you're allowed to take it out. Sheshama koyanim balimumim matliim or eitzim. If they had a mum, they couldn't perform avodah. They took out. Matliim means they dewormed it. They took out the toilas, the worm. Because wood that has a worm is possible. Tzfayis ma'ravis hiyoysa lishkas mitzorah. Mitzorah, you take from the blood of the carbon and you put it on his thumb, on his right ear, and his right big toe. There's an issue because he went to the mikveh the day before, so he's really tful yoim. So he goes to the mikveh again. In here, there's a mikveh. I saw a better picture. Maybe. Oh no, my picture is better. Here. Yeah, here. See, Lishkas and Mitzrayim. In my thing, there's a nice little blue mikveh right over here that the Mitzrayim goes in for the second time. These pictures are pretty nice. Here we're going to the Shmonim. Here's, you see, blue would represent wine, and the orange represents oil. I'm assuming. That's Lishkas Hashmonim in a second. What?
Where they get all the water from, it was a be'er.
Where?
Also, they drew all the water from.
I didn't learn it.
All of it. It's later in the parak.
Okay.
Don't be coming, but Masora is not.
Omar, Tzafanis Marav si hoiz Lishkas Mitzrayim. Marav, this is very interesting. Marav is Droimis. What's the last one? Omar Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov shochachti masha hoisem shameshes. I forgot. Who cares what Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov forgot and doesn't? Why is it important here? Because Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is the one that wrote this Masechta. He's the author of the Masechta, and he says, I just Pasha don't remember.
He was alive. He was Kalvanoki.
He was alive and he forgot. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Kavanoki, very good. Very good. Abba Sholaimer, I'll remind you, Sheshama Yunoisnim Yayin B'Shemen. It's amazing. It's obvious. There was a whole chamber full of wine, full of oil, more oil than wine because you use more oil. and he forgot. He also nikres lishkas beis shmanyo, and they actually called it shemen. V'chalaka ha'isa b'roisha. Says the Mishnah that the Ezer's Nashim was smooth. In other words, it didn't have any protrusions. It was just a open area. And then v'kifua kitzoitzra, they made balconies. And you see over here, there's zizim. I just painted it a little bit so you could see that it came out. These beams, like the base medrash. If you want to know what it looks like, those metal beams that come out, that everybody says, what are you going to do? How are you going to cover those? The bottom. So here they are. Here, maybe we should leave it as a reminder of the Beis Hamikdash, not the Churban, to the Beis Hamikdash. And on top of that, because you had these beams coming out, there were 300s mistama, they were able to build Ezra's Nashim on top. It's beautiful. So it's very, what? Here, come. I'm sure they had steps. Like we saw the Nitzois. Beis HaNitzois had circular stairs. I don't know.
This is the whole makor for the mechitza.
This is a big makar for the mechitza. This is a nice makar for the shuls like Pnei Shmuel, the Gra, all these shuls that the women are up, because as the Mishnah says even, Sha'anoshim rois milamalon, women look from above, v'ha'anoshim milamatan, the men are down. Kedei shelo yiyu muravim. It's a mefurish Mishnah, Rabbi Yisai. I don't know what the argument is exactly. It says you cannot mix men and women. Not only that, there was some sort of mixture. In other words, in the beginning, before they instituted these balconies, the men were inside, the women were outside, and they switched it around or reversed. But there was always issues when they were on the same level. And they kept on trying to figure out how to separate the men and the women, and there was always, what is it called? Leitzanas, like Kalas Roish, thank you. Kalas Roish, that's the word. There was Kalas Roish, there was schmoozing going on, whatever it was, even in those days. So they had to separate them. They said, okay, you go upstairs, you stay upstairs, you go downstairs. And then you have all the issues that we have today. Mechitza, Tentfachim, Ramosha Feinstein, v'chulu, but it all started over here. And it seems like the best way to do it is put the women up there, and it's actually nicer, it's beautiful, and that's it. As I state the Mishnah, you shlo yu muravim.
Talks about simple space for Sheva, and says
Yeah.
they made it similar to
Yeah.
same idea.
What, in Yuma? Oh, in Sukkah?
A simple space for Sheva.
Yeah. All right. V'chomesh esrei malois oilois mitoichal ezras Yisrael. The famous Shira Malois. That these are the stairs, and on each stair it was amazing. I wish somebody would make a movie of it, but there was Kohanim Leviim would be on this circular stair with all their instruments. Each stair more and more Leviim, and they sang. Each one sang a different shir, and they start, as we know, in the kufs over there, kuf chaf, Shira Malois, Eso'enai, Shira Malois Memakim. Each one had a different song, and they would sing it. Keneged Chomesh Esrei Mali Shabbat Tehillim. It says Mefurish. It's because of the 15 Tehillims that start with Shir Hamalois, or I don't know which. Shalei Malavim Oimrim Bashir. So they said this shir when there was Nisuch Hamayim on yesterday on Sukkot. Loi hoyu trutos, they weren't square, elam mukofes kechatzi gorin agula, like in the picture, they were rounded, and it was amazing. Zok the Mishnah, Daf Lamed Beis Mishnah Vav. Well, the shachos hoyu tachas Ezras Yisrael. So there were chambers for the Levim. Look at this beautiful picture from the Mesifta. Right over here, there are two doorways right by the side of the steps, and they go underground, I guess. But it could be they're not underground because this is the level of on the other side. This is where it is, so it is underground over here. What happened in these little chambers? What?
That door drawn is far too small.
It's not drawn to scale.
Why? Time out. Each step was a half amma, which is a foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet. I see 6 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right over here, you go this way, it's about 6, 7 steps. That's 6 feet tall. It's not so bad. Not bad. Levim was short anyways. No, I'm just making that. Fine. I have a picture of a navel. We know what a harp looks like. I wasn't sure what a navel looks like. According to the art scroll, he gives some word over there, and I Googled it, something like this. Some sort of instrument that looks like this. It's a string instrument, and this is the mitzaltayim, the cymbals. It has even a little handle, and you knock them together. That's how they started the shir. But also it's brought down in the Mefarshim that in this, it's very interesting. Where did they do choir practice? It's very noisy with all the instruments and this and that. They would go into this. It was almost underground. From the Azara was underground. From the Ezras Noshim was level, but still it gave them a little bit of protection from sound. And this is where they kept all their instruments, and they say their song books. They had books. You go in here. They had that stuff. All the Levim. Yeah, there's a lot of room here. Yeah, because it's underground. You can do recording studio. There's a whole thing going on there. They had everything. Rabbi said they had everything. Anything they needed, they had. I used to, when Nachman Seltzer's in-laws lived in my building, you know about it. They had choir practice on the porch, and the whole, either you were soivel from it or you enjoyed it, whatever you call it, but it's noisy. When you have all these people singing outdoors, it become quite and you repeat it over, you make a mistake. It's not geschmack when they're practicing. It's geschmack when they're performing. So they stuck them in there. It makes sense, no? You do practice indoors.
No, it's a soundproof room.
Yeah, it's soundproof, exactly. Ezras Yisrael. What happened to my thing? Oh, thank you. This guy. Thank you. You see, what?
Same idea. The Grua, the new building of the Grua.
Yeah.
They built a hall that they have weddings purposely very, very deep, so that there shouldn't be the sound coming, so the people around the area should not.
It's a shame they didn't think about parking though.
Right. Below that is the underground parking.
Below that.
Park in the hall. I'm the closest to it, so I'm Seattle and it's affected.
No, they're very makpid in Israel about that. And also they have, the best idea is, Avi will tell you, at the bar mitzvah, you just had a bar mitzvah, I saw it by Noah's bar mitzvah, they have a device that if you go too high, the sound is too high, it starts flashing like a ambulance light, and also all the electric goes off. And any musician that they have in base tefillah. Yeah, so musicians hate that because it like ruins, it destroys their equipment. So as soon as they see that light flashing, they right away only in base tefillah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Regarding Thursday night, what's on Thursday night?
We're planning a party right now.
Okay.
Yeah. We're working on having a shir on Middos Thursday night and maybe a siyum on Kacheh possibly. Availability.
It's not a bad idea. We'll just throw some food in together. It doesn't have to be anything massive.
Men only. Interested in that? It would be men only.
There's a guy who's a mumcha in Mesechtes Middos. He's an American, but he learns in Panovich. Oh, it's a different guy. Okay, different guy. And of course, Avi, if you're sensitive to the whole Harabayas thing, don't show up. I'm sure that Avi's going to throw in some free passes to Harabayas and try to prove that you're mechuyev to go. Not only you're allowed to go, right? Something, yes. Is somebody else? Is it good though? Okay. Shlomo Goren, oh, you fake. Your father's sponsoring it, I know. All right, fine. Ezras Yisrael, Rabbi Isai. Just again, if you're not familiar, this is the Azara, this is the Ezras Noshim. Right over here is called Ezras Yisrael. It's a long strip, 11 amas wide, and the length of the whole Azara, which is 135. Why is this Ezras Yisrael? You bring a carbon, you're stuck in this little pen. You can't go past this wall. Now, who asked me? Oh, David Rosenblum asked me yesterday. I made a mistake. I simply didn't read it correctly. We were learning about the division in the Beis HaMoiked. There was like little pieces of wood that separated the Kodesh and the Chol. And the Mishnah uses a lashon of pishpashin, but it's really pispasin. It's a sin. The Mishnah says with a sin, and now we're going to have it with a samach. It's like a Litvish shin. It's a samach. It's two different words. Pishpish means a door. Pispis means small pieces of wood. I read it wrong. It's a pispis. Zok the Ezra Yisrael loisa oirach meyo amo ushloishim v'chomish aroicha v'chadesrei. V'chein Ezra Koyanim hoisa oirach meyo. Right next to it, you see this yellow line. I don't know if you could see it, but there's a yellow line. One side is Ezra Koyanim, the one closer to the heichal, to the mizbeach, and on this side of the line is the Ezra Yisrael. V'roshei pispisin. Here you see the Mishnah says it with a samach, whereas on Shabbos the Mishnah had it with a sin. Mavdil bein Ezras Yisrael, Ezras HaKoyanim. When it said it here with the samach, I realized, oh boy, I better go back. And then I saw that my Gemara actually says it with the sin, has a little, because I have Nekudas, but I wasn't reading it then. I wasn't using them. Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Ma lo hoyse gvoya amo. Between the Ezras Yisrael and Ezras Kohanim, there was a step. There was a few steps. One was Amma. Vahaduchan nasan oleo, and the platform for the Levium was on top of that. Uba shalish malos, and there's an additional 3 steps. Shechatzi chatzi Amma, Nimtzas, Ezras HaKohanim, Gvoya, Ezras Yisrael, Shtei Amis u'Mepsa. This would be a very hard build. If you were building such a large Azara, you had to make it elevated from this Ezras Yisrael, and then they made it 2.5 amma higher, and they just continued the entire Azar according to this Shita, according to Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, Kavanoki. So he knows what he's talking about.
That's because it was on a slope, and they wanted everything to be on level. So
Right. They had to, according to him. There are those, the Chacham are Mechulek on him. Tanakam is Mechulek. It says everything, Ezras Yisrael and Ezras Kohanim, are flat.
The blood was probably a mess. It spilled over like a lip or something. Like think about Pesach.
Shem Yerachim. Well, obviously there's a lip because it says that the blood stayed there, and then they had to open up the drain, pulled up, and they opened the drain, and then they released it. Up till their knees or something. The Azara was 187. We already said it was 135 wide by 187 long. They would do 13 bowings for what the Yevanim did, as we had before. Abba Yosef ben Chananoy keneged shleisha asar sharim. He's mechulek. Not because nothing to do with the Yevanim. It has to do with the 13 gates. And every time a person passed the gate, he would perform mishtachava. What are the gates? Zroimim smuchim l'mayrav, the ones that are in the south, that are next to the west. Shara Elyoin, it's called, one of them is called the upper gate. Shara Delek, Shara B'choyrei, Shara Mayim. We had these. V'lo manikru shmoi Shara Mayim, sheboi machnisim tzloicha shamayim shanisuch b'chag. On Sukkos, we had this yesterday, it was Mamish and Yonah, the Yoma. This is where they brought the water in from, so it's called Shara Mayim. Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Boya Mayim Mefakim. It says that there was a stream of water that came out and runs through, and that's where it becomes the size of the opening of a flask. It's going to be in the time of by Shlishi, there's going to be the stream, and it's going to come out underneath the Miftan Abayis. Now let's go. He has 13 gates. Although we only spoke about 7 gates, he's also including the smaller gates. Shar Yochnia. This is very interesting. For anybody that learned this already, Shar Yochnia, you could just read it Shar Yochnia. But this is in fact what we learned before, Shar HaNitzoitz. Remember the one that had a balcony on top, and the Kohen stood guard on the top, and it's called now Shar Yochnia. You have to look in the Rishonim over here to understand that it's the same thing. Shar HaKorban, Shar HaNoshim. Shar HaNoshim means when a woman came to bring a korban, she would go through that shar. Like it says, in all the halls, women this way. So they had a special entrance for the women. Shar Ashir, and this is also very interesting. This is not what we know as Shar Ashir. Up until this point, we call this the Beis HaMoiked. We spoke very extensively about the Beis HaMoiked, and here the Mishnah calls it Shar HaShir. V'loma nikro shmo Shar Yochnia Shebayotza Yechanya Im Yechanya Melech Yehuda. Right. So the king of Yehuda, Yechanya, when Nebuchadnezzar said, "Get out of here," so he said, "Okay, let me just do one more bow." He bowed, and when his final time that he left, can you imagine? He's leaving the Beis HaMikdash forever. He went out through that Shar. It was a big thing, so they called it Shar Yechanya.
In the second Beis
Shebayotza Yechanya Begalusoi. Was it the second Beis
HaMikdash?
HaMikdash?
Because the first Beis HaMikdash.
Nebuchadnezzar, yeah, Nebuchadnezzar, yeah. Sheba Mizrach Shar Nikanor. We know about Shar Nikanor in the Mizrach. Ushnei Pishpish Moyoloi. Here it's already with a shin. It had 2 doors, so those are also counted as doors. That's why there's 13 shtachavois. We're trying to get to 13 for the 13 shtachavois. And there's 2 doors, 2 entranceways. In the west, nobody ever used them, don't have a name. Hadron Allah Harabai. Says the Mishnah. If you're looking at the base of the Mizbeach was 32 by 32. Allah Amma V'Konasama. This is what we call the Yisoid, but we don't have a lot of time, but we learned about this, that the way the Mizbeach was built, it was in a form. They put a form, and they put down, very nice here, show everybody your picture, and they filled it up with stones, and then on top of the stones they put lime and tar and all sorts of gooky stuff, and it held together. That's the base. But it went in 1 amma. That's the base. Allah v'konas amma. Zeh yisoid. Nimsa shloishim shloishim. Now you're left, if you take off 2 ammas, 1 on each side of the Mizbeach, you're left with 30 by 30. That was the next part of another form, a giant form, of 5 ammas high. Allah chamish v'konas amma. And then you had the Sovev. This guy over here. Nimsa Esrim Ushmoina al Esrim Ushmoina. So from this point it was 28 because you lost another 2 ammas, 1 on each side. The horns on the Mizbeach, these guys were 1 by 1 by 1. And if you look close at this picture, it had an indentation. They put a form, and then they poured the cement, then they pulled it out. So they had a little bit of like a square on each horn on the top. So if you're going to go from this line, this dotted line over here, you have 26. We learned that there was a little bit of a lip that the Kohanim shouldn't fall over, and there was an amma for them to walk. Now we're left, and Rabbi Shomer, I need you to tell me again what the Gaon said later after she was over, but I want to hear it again. But there's 24 ammas in the solid line. This is a beautiful picture of the big logs, Marocha Gdoila, Marocha Ktana, Marocha Shnia, Marocha Shlishis, Tapuach, beautiful. In the beginning, there's only 28 on 28 on the bottom, on the base. And they went in an amma, went up 5 amma, went in an amma. But when you got to the top, you only were left with 20 on 20. They added an L shape, and Memela, the Mizbeach became a 32 by 32. Now, it says that the top part of the Mizbeach was 12 by 12. We know it's impossible. It was 24 by 20. Where did you get to 12 by 12? So you have to say, the pshat is, and we learned this in Zvachim somewhere, that from the corner here, if you look at the tapuach, the spitz from the middle, if you go in each direction, you have 12 ammas and 12 ammas. So you have 4 quadrants of 12 by 12, really equals a 24 by 24 area. I got that word from the art school. Then you have the famous red line that was in the center, the middle part of the Mizbeach. It had a certain thickness, I think it was a tefach, so that you for sure get the blood on the bottom of it and on top of it. What blood goes on top of the red line? Oil soif. What else? Chatos. Chatos animal. And everything else is below the red line. Okay, you know what? Let's do these two lines tomorrow because they're very important.
I don't want to go on as a long time, but it goes off at 8 o'clock and then it shuts out.
The oilam
What?
is which are the oilam is this?
You want to get an alarm at 8 o'clock.